Hey everybody, Dave here. We are going to look at one of my all-time favorite videos. This is Oscar Peterson, C Jam Blues. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Let's play. They're excited too. Let me turn this down. All those European audiences love to clap in sync with each other. There's Ray Brown on the bass. It's been a long concert, wiping the sweat. So you might know the recording C Jam Blues from Oscar Peterson's album Night Train. But this is an extra little treat to have the solo piano intro. We don't get that on the record. Just listen to his time feel. It's just piano and some snaps, and some tapping on the bass. There, oh my goodness. That bass has seen some love, by the way. But listen to those eighth notes. We're gonna talk a little bit about some of the language, some of the licks. But for now, I just want you to absorb that time feel. Oh yeah, that's a cool lick. So we're gonna get into the blues. But first, there's this really cool lick. It goes to get back to the C at the end of the form. It's D7 and then G7 or the tritone sub, which is D flat 7. That's what he plays. So we got F sharp, C, E, which is part of a D9 chord. And then he puts an A flat on top. So we're kind of playing with those tritones because A flat is the tritone of D. So he does that, and then he kind of just moves that voicing down a half step because D flat is a half step below D. So check that out. And then he keeps going up. So he takes this pattern and then he expands upon it. So the way he expands on is just by continuing with the G augmented triad. Something like that. But most of the stuff I want to show you, some of the more bluesy stuff that he does. Check that out. A lot of the stuff is going to revolve around kind of always implying this 4-1 relationship. A lot of times in like more classical sounding music, we have 5-1, this emphasis on 5-1. But when we're playing the blues, a lot of it is 4-1. So if you'll notice what he played there was, and that was on the 1 chord. You might say, Dave, that doesn't really sound like the 4 chord to me, but let's look at it. So the most important notes in any chord are often the 3rd and the 7th. So we look at this tritone, that reeks heavily of an F7. Because F, we got F, E flat is the 7th of F, and A, that just to me smells like F7, but he plays it over C. And anytime we kind of imply the 4 over any other chord, that feels like the blues. Blues is also a great way to wrap up a phrase. So that wasn't the best phrase, but you get the point. Let's keep going. And he's done that a couple times now. I don't know if you noticed what he did there. It's okay if you didn't. So we have the blues, just the general 1, 4, 1. And after that, instead of just hanging out on 1, he's gonna play the 5 of 6. Bear with me. We got 1, 4, and we want to go to 6, which is A minor. So he's gonna play E7. And then from the A minor, he goes to C7, which brings us to F. That's pretty slick, right? So sounds so like I don't know, like historic American to me, and that might not be a coincidence because one of my favorite ragtime pieces by Scott Joplin, it's called Elite Syncopations. It has actually the exact same chords in sequence. It goes from A minor to C7, which brings us back home to F. So check this out. This is, I believe it's the second strain of Elite Syncopations. So. So I'm only showing you that because that's one of my very favorite ways to get between chords. That theme, going with it. Amazing. What a great intro. So I want to show you one more thing from that. And that's related to this idea of the 4 kind of always being implied to make it sound more bluesy. And that's this idea of, we're going to take D and A, and maybe you can guess what I'm going to say, but we already have the A from that F7 chord, and we're going to add the E flat. That pattern is all over this video. He does it like 1,000 times. You can do that too. That's just a beautiful thing. And then the other thing I want to mention is this lick where you keep the root on top, so C, and then you just kind of play bluesy stuff under it. So he does that all up in that. Let's keep listening, y'all. Get out of Ray's way. Oh, a little call and response with himself. Oh, check that out. Oh my God, that's so cool. I love it. Wynton Kelly actually does this lick a lot. Ooh, come on now. Again with the F7 madness. So that works over any chord. You can play F7, which is the 4, over any chord here. So I don't even know where he did it, but it works for D7. So check out what it is. Again, it's those notes, E flat and A. So, and it's only E flat and A. That's all it is. And it sounds, if you play it too much, it starts to sound like what it is, just 2 notes. But if you kind of slide it in there, then it'll trick you with how simple it is. Whoops. There's that other one. Okay, let's keep going, y'all. So I want you to notice that was a break, right? Just piano was playing in that break. Something I want you to think about. These breaks are outside the form. There's the top right there. Usually breaks are part of the form, but here, we restart the form, and there's this little chunk. Oh, so the form restarts here. So it's just the one chord for the break. There's that thing again. Come on now. Wow. Wow. That time feels crazy. Oh man. Okay, they're done with the breaks. They're cooking now. And he's not afraid to play the root over and over again. My goodness. Okay, here. Bird blues, bird blues, bird blues. So this is when you finally get to a point where you're ready to really take it to the next level of energy and forward motion. You can add some alternative changes because as a general rule of thumb, kind of the more changes there are, the more forward motion you have. So if you do these changes, the bird blues, there's more changes. Do you know this one? So it goes C, and we're ultimately aiming for F. And so this is, we're just doing a series of 2 5s in basically whole steps. So we start on B to E7. And then down a whole step to A minor, to D7. What do you think's next? Down a whole step, G minor, C7. And if you already know that, it's surprising. You think you know this, and then you try to play it when you're soloing, and then it just doesn't come out. So it's definitely, if you already know it, it's still really worth practicing and trying to make some beautiful melodies out of that. Sometimes you just gotta let your fingers fly. And then he's back. Oh, what do you think that is? Oh my goodness. Okay, that's awesome. I gotta show you that. So he's taken, remember that? Those 2 notes, A and E flat, those are the heroes. And he has a C. He's actually taken that one step further, and not only is he doing these 2 notes, E flat and A, or sorry, yeah, E flat and A, but he's also adding the other members of the minor thirds that make up that diminished triad. So he's saying the chord changes, you know, they will adapt to this very strong chord he's playing. So sometimes, you know, you don't have to be a servant to the chord changes. You can play just a very strong idea, and the chord changes will be forced to fit. So he has this very strong idea of this diminished chord, and it's such a strong melody, arpeggiating that diminished chord, that it doesn't really matter that it doesn't quite fit the chords. Let's continue. Again, more roots, more roots. Another very useful device. I want to show that to you again. Listen to how he just gets stuck on that F sharp to F. That's such a beautiful note to kind of get stuck on, and it really builds the tension. And you're like, come on, man, you can get through this. You can get off that note. And we're all kind of rooting for him. Let's hear it again. Stuck. Come on, Oscar, you can do it. And he made his way out. Beautiful. A reminder that it's okay to play predictable things. What is that? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So we're on the 4 chord here. And instead of treating this like a normal 4 chord, we're playing kind of the whole tone scale that's associated with F, the 4 chord. So what's that? Now, you know, Monk would often go up and down the scale, but there's other ways to do it. And this is something that I've heard Horace Silver do a lot, which, you know, Horace Silver would play very you know, predictable and simple ideas over this kind of weird sounding scale. And the kind of the paradox of the weird sounding scale and the very simple, predictable ideas is very satisfying. That makes sense? Okay, let's keep going. Back to that. More whole tone. More whole tone. Wow. He's hanging on that B. All right. And then we're into the block chords. I wanna pause it here. I feel like that's so much for one video. So we'll get onto the concept of block chords at a later time, because that's deserves 9 videos, block chords. So I hope you learned something from this. Again, we got the ideas we talked about were this really omnipresent idea of implying the 4 anywhere to make it bluesy. So we got this. And then with the same notes, that lick. We got this lick. So that's D7 to D flat 7. if you want to slow down the video, you can do that on YouTube to figure out that lick. It's a really good one. I'm trying to remember what else we talked about. That's all I can remember for now, but feel free to scroll back. Much love. Goodbye.